the first time I messed, I don't know how I went to town. Nikajipata niko na a prostitute in the house. A prostitute in the house. Unasikia being hosted. A prostitute. The next morning I woke up, no laptop, no phone, nothing. And some money, nilikuwa nimeweka nilipe my friend, it was gone. Kwanza she even locked me in. The guts. This thought of dying. They didn't come because you have been sacked. They used to be there even when I was getting big bonuses at Safaricom. It's people confuse maybe alcoholism with poverty and maybe mental illness with poverty. No. People want to commit suicide even when they have bank accounts that are loaded. So I had this 60,000 and I said, now sasa ni kunywa kufa. Nikicross barabara, I remember that one time. I almost jumped onto the road. Hii mambo iishe. Because where am I going? Where was I? That thought of that good performer in primary school, whose dad had a lot of hope. Now, jamaa alikuwa Safcom. Now within a year, here I am walking almost, like a chokora. Because actually nilikuwa nakaa chokora.
You wanted to go?
Yeah, nilikuwa nataka.
Yes.
I really wanted.
Hello and a warm welcome to LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Now imagine being fired from some of the top positions in the country simply because you chose alcohol over yourself, over family and over everything that you loved. Many people would blame themselves, but my guest today says that he learned his lessons the hard way, and if there's anything he wants to do today is to inspire someone so that they can genuinely get over alcoholism. I'm about to let him introduce himself today, but before I do that, allow me to say thank you to our partners here at Westwood Hotel for giving us this therapeutic space so that I'm able to bring you conversations that have the ability to impact lives. And now, without further ado, please allow me to let my guest today introduce himself. Hello.
Hi.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good.
You are well?
Yeah.
First, thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
I was tagged in your story when you did the Twitter thread by
week.
so many people last week, and they said, Lynn, we want Chris to come on the show. So thank you so much for coming. But kabla hata tuende mbali, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Crispus.
Yes.
Githai Kimaru.
Yeah.
Born in Nyeri County, Karatina, Kiarohio village, small village somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm 38 years, going to 39 next month. I'm married, and I've been through a lot in my life, and I'm celebrating 5 years of sobriety, alcohol-free for 5 years.
Yes.
And that's why I decided to share my story about 2 weeks ago. That was on February 8th.
Yeah.
And that's when I wrote the thread on Twitter. First of all, I wrote about celebrating 5 years.
Yes.
Then people were asking, how did you do it? So I picked as part of my life.
Yeah.
And I started showing how I came to recover.
Yeah.
That's why maybe people are tagging you. They wanted to learn more.
Yeah. Did you expect this amount of feedback? Did you expect to have so many people also in your DMs telling you, I'm struggling with this, please help me?
Mostly, before I even wrote the thread, I talked to my wife and she said, why not do it? Talk. Because there's a lot of negativity, stigma associated with alcoholism and alcohol abuse.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect such overwhelming response. I thought maybe people would be like, you wanted to drink, so why talk about it? Kunywa. And then there's a lot of, on social media, drinking is this nice experience. People don't show you, even the advertisers or the alcohol manufacturers don't show you the reality, the pain that is in the families, and even in the larger maybe families.
Yes.
But I decided I'll just come out and maybe people realize how big of a problem alcoholism is in our country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say the ugliness of it all, the hard truths that even the advertisers don't show us, you have lived it.
Yes, and it's terrible. Most alcoholics, you'll see them crying. They take a few drinks, you see someone in a corner crying,
Yes.
calling to their mothers. I used to do that every other time. I would call mom. Most of the times I didn't even have a phone, but her number
Yes.
was in my head. I would call her crying, and she would be so sad because I was the jewel of the family. Maybe they thought they had a lot of hope in me as a young boy. Now here I was, destitute, sleeping in ditches. Most of the times they didn't even know where I was. So yeah, I have lived it.
You've
and
lived it.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah, traumatizing.
I want our audience to understand your story, because everything has a genesis. There's a reason you felt the need to take that first sip. There's a reason you felt so obliged, you know, to have more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sleep in ditches, find yourself in brothels, get fired. So maybe if you could take us through your story, how was life like for you growing up, and is this something that runs in the family, and all the things that you've encountered through your journey, through your battle with alcoholism?
Surprisingly, my childhood was nice. It was happy, growing in a large family of 9 and maybe 10, because I have a niece who is almost my age mate. My dad, my mom were always present, and they tried a lot. We didn't have a lot. We maybe a middle family. And they were not employed. They were just farmers. So they tried a lot to give us everything. They sacrificed a lot. And in school, I was a good performer. And that's one reason maybe when I didn't I didn't achieve maybe to the standards I expected, maybe later in future, that's what affected me. But all through my primary school, I was performing well. My dad was so proud. And moving to class 7, class 8, I knew I would perform. I used to look at the newspapers and I always thought I would be in this newspaper, you know, as a top performer. I didn't perform as I had hoped. And the first failure for me was maybe going to a small school somewhere in Kiambu.
Yes.
Actually, I got 486 out of 700. It wasn't that bad, but for me, I felt I should have maybe hit 500 and above, go to Kagumo or other big schools. So I found myself somewhere in a small school, and we were bullied. Lynn, when I talk about bullying, I'm talking about serious bullying. That one incident in my mind where one night, I was a small boy. You can imagine all the Form 1s, no shorts, no boxers. At night, a cold night, and they are checking you. The Form 4s are checking whether you are circumcised. You know, such, and you know, they are pouring cold water, you know, to see whether you are, you know, it was shameful.
That happens in our schools.
It used to happen. The 90s.
Yes.
It used to happen. It was so normal. Most of the times, we wouldn't sleep in the dorms. It was impossible. And then, so the bullying, a small boy being bullied, and you're feeling, this is not where I should have been. This is not the school. I should be in Alliance or Starehe. This is not where. There was no learning. So I told my dad, please help me. I can't come back here second term. So my dad and one of my brothers, Patrick, they worked out, and I went to a better school in Kirinyaga. And that is in the second term. And it was again a struggle. You see, first term in that small school in Kiambu, there was no learning. So I got a culture shock in Kirinyaga. Those were guys with 500 and above, sharp guys. So I mean, Form 1, I can't catch up. One teacher told me after maybe a term, you should go back where you came from. You see, from the best performer in primary school, here I am in secondary school being told to go back wherever I came from. The bullying was still extreme. I won't lie to you. Bullying was extreme. Many other times we slept out in the bush, in the coffee plantations. Form 1, second term, third term, no learning.
And do teachers even care, or they know bullying is going on, but they choose to be ignorant of it?
It was tough because you couldn't report to the teachers. The teachers knew it was happening, but a Form 1 talking to a teacher outside in the compound would have indicated that you are reporting somebody.
You are
So you would
snitch.
even see the teacher coming, and then you'd have to either run away or just escape, just walk away.
Yeah.
And the teacher maybe wants to help you. They can see you were in trouble. So the teacher couldn't react because we never told them, but they had an idea it was happening. Form 3, I struggled and I started performing better. Actually, I got so good, I came up to top 20. And the boys there were sharp. By Form 4, I was performing well. By the mocks, I was doing exemplary well. And I thought, now I'm back. I would get an A or an A minus or even a B plus. Go to college, take a good course.
Yes.
The exam came, I did my exam. Maybe I was anxious or overconfident. Again, I failed. I got a B. To me, that's a failure because the way I was performing, even the teachers, maybe some of the teachers were like, what happened? We hope you're coming back to repeat.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. There was no way I would go back there. And so life now started out of high school.
Yes.
Maybe that's where now the phase of drinking started.
Talk to me about your first drink. Can you remember it?
Yes, succinctly. I remember it very well. It was in 2000. We were joining Form 4. 2000, January 1st. We had prepared Moratina because in the village, you don't even pay cash. You get some sugar, you get some sugar canes, and then you take them to the brewer, and the brewer will prepare the Moratina for you. Jerry cans, almost 3, for a kg of sugar and some sugar canes. That day, I remember it was New Year, and we were big. I was feeling now, I'm going to Form 4, and I have to start in style. And we were 4 of us. And I'm sorry to say, out of the 4, 2 are dead now. My age mates, and it's because of alcohol-related incidences. And I wouldn't like to go into details about that.
It's okay.
But from the first time I drank, I knew it wasn't normal. My reaction to alcohol wasn't normal. That day, I ended up, after taking a few cups, Moratina is sweet. After taking a few cups, I don't know how I ended up at a neighbor's place. There was a wedding going on. So the moment I came to, because I had maybe fainted or something, there was a crowd. People were giving me sugary water. I don't know, it's supposed to maybe energize, it was supposed to energize me, bring me back to life. I even remember that mzee who was giving me the cup of water.
Yes.
And the brides, you can imagine, I walked into a wedding and then maybe I fainted. I don't know exactly what I did. That's a sign that I would later become a problematic drinker. Because you see, that short memory loss, that blacking out, it's a warning sign. So I had blacked out, and I was being helped. You can imagine the shame in the village. So when I came to, I would see the bride, people are wondering whether I am dead, the shame. So I was taken to I was taken back to where we were drinking from, and I slept at one of my friend's cube. In the village we had cubes. So I slept, and then I went home later. My parents heard about it. They asked me, and they were angry because I was now going back to Form 4. Remember, they have a lot of hope in me.
Yes.
So I went back to school, and we were not in good terms with the parents. But when I went back the first time, I performed well. I had a B plus. The mocks came. Like I said, I performed well. But then from there, I don't know what happened. I wasn't drinking in school. We used to sneak once in a while, and we would take these uji-like beer. Was it Kifoko or something?
Yes,
Kifoko.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we would sneak back into school.
Yeah.
The teachers never noted that. because the bars were somewhere hidden in the village. So I had this urge. I remembered how I felt the first time I drank, you know, that confidence to talk to anyone, talk to girls, anyone. I would say, after Form 4, I'm going to drink. And that's exactly what I did. Coming from school after my exams, I didn't carry my box, my mattress, nothing. I just carried a bag with some books because I knew I had some money. You know, when people send you the success cards, they send some
With some money inside.
So I
Good.
had almost 1,000 and something.
Yes.
So leaving school, I knew I was going to Karatina now to drink. I'm now a big boy. My parents won't tell me anything. And I went and I drank. Maybe I didn't even drink a lot. I just blacked out in town. I don't know how one of my brothers got wind that I was somewhere lying in a bar, and he came and picked me and took me home.
Yeah.
I was vomiting all over. And I didn't get the warning because now, you see, I'm blacking out. And I've just started drinking. I got the urge to drink even more. The confidence, the dopamine in the brain was telling me, go for some more. You need the confidence. And you see, now I'm out of school. I would pick tea, and maybe my parents, not a lot. My parents maybe on Saturdays would give me 200. For me, that would be money to drink because I didn't have clothes to buy. We were in the village, so there were no high expectations in fashion. There was no fashion show there.
Yes.
So I would just send for some. You remember there used to be those, what do you call them? Sachets of beer. So at 180, you would get a complete packet. So I would send to the town and they would be brought. So I started drinking. My parents wouldn't know. I had the sachets with me all the time. Even in the farm, I would always be high. And I was feeling good. Without money, I would even quarrel with the parents and give me money. They wouldn't note. And by the time maybe they noted, maybe it was too late. But my dad always used to tell me, "Hii kunywa yako, this is not normal." My mom would tell me, "Look at your brothers, wale wamekunywa, the community." She would point out.
Yes.
And I knew she used to pray that I didn't I end up that way. And in any case, I was just starting out. So they would think this is just a phase.
And then it will fade.
It will fade. It got worse. After getting my B and feeling that now I'm a failure, it got worse. I felt I wouldn't go back to school, to high school. I wouldn't repeat because that would be admission of failure. So I said I'll go to campus and do whatever. Those days we used to wait for 2 years before joining campus. And I got my letter to go to Moi University, take a BA Geography. I didn't even know what that was. So as I waited, I tried maybe convincing my parents to take a computer maybe course. Certificate or course, but it didn't work out. So I stayed in the village, maybe helping out with in the farm. But any money I got, the first priority was Moratina or the sachets. The sachets were 10 bob, 15 bob. And with 2 or 3, you would be high. So it was very easy. Alcohol was so accessible. And whoever stopped those sachets did a marvelous job. We would have died. Yeah, we would have died. So it got worse. I would quarrel with my parents. Now they started noticing it. In the village, I would go and mess up. Maybe even go knocking in people's homes at night, asking for food. Because I knew by the time I got home, I would find my parents asleep. So people would come and maybe tell my mom, my daddy's stuff, so no one would dare. Tell my mom, "Hey, tuliona Githaya alikuja akafanya Githaya na msichana wangu anasumbua msichana wangu, niliona," you know, stuff like that. It got worse. One time I drank and I messed up in the marketplace, the village, na kanyanga nyanya za watu huko. No, there were no phones, so the women had to come home and report. And I would be asleep, and my mom would ask, "Ni nini nakusumbua?" I didn't know. It's the low esteem that was eating me up. By the time I went to college, August 2012, 202, sorry, 202, it was already bad. Now I knew I had my money, help. I had applied for help, and the money would come into my account. Some, the other would go to tuition.
Yes.
Okay, so now I had a bank account with money. Money and me were not supposed to stay together, so I ended up in a bar, DJ bars. I had already started discovering the DJ bars in Eldoret.
Eldoret.
Yeah, I was young, as maybe 20. Yeah, I was 20.
Yeah.
But the drinking was maybe of somebody who is 40-something, an alcoholic who is 40-something. Because the moment I walked into a bar, I would even ask myself, look at me, sober. But the moment I walked into a bar, I would know this is a mess that is waiting to happen.
But you would walk into it.
I would walk into it. The craving had already taken over. You know, this happens in the brain. There's the reward center in the brain that, you know, when you do something satisfying, whether even holding your kid, something like that, there's that reward that releases dopamine. Now, the dopamine, after some time of taking alcohol, I think the brain changes and stops the production of dopamine, or even reduces the receptors. So you have to drink more to get that initial feeling. Now I was drinking a lot. And remember, there's this genetic disposition to alcohol. If maybe you had a family problem, even from before, maybe your parents, if there have ever been a problem with alcohol, it could be in your genes. That's why I always tell people, please be careful. You never know. So maybe sometimes I look at my brothers who have struggled with alcoholism, and I wonder, maybe our grandfather used to drink. Maybe on my father's side, or we only got my guka from my mother's side, and he never used to drink. Relationships were not important to me. If it was possible, my only girlfriend at that time was beer, and I felt comfortable. I didn't see the need for women. Yeah, why struggle? And I can just drink and feel good. And that's how I got deeper into it.
Yes.
By the first week, you see, we used to get almost maybe 14,000, from 10 to 14,000 in our bank account at the start of the semester. By the first week, mine would be gone. It would be gone. And we didn't have phones to call home. So only my aunt had a phone. And we had to go to a booth, and I had to go to a booth and start lying.
Yes.
I remember one time I lied that I went to the bathroom and all my money was stolen. So my dad had to send a money order. The money order would come through the post, and then I would go to the post office and cash it out.
Yes.
And then that day would be party after party. Yeah. The only thing I used to buy after getting the money was food, because we used to cook in the campus. After buying the food, the rest was party after party money. Now, you see, when you're starting out, most people start as having fun. But now it was not even fun for me. There was that element of fun, but now there was something else pushing me. I didn't know at that time. I didn't know. I would have that craving. Okay, I would have that craving anytime whether I was in class or I was traveling. I would just feel I need to drink. I remember one time I was going to Eldoret, and we were somewhere past Nakuru. And I felt, and I had paid the Eldoret Express all the way to LD. Nikashuka, because I felt I was in Salga. I ended up staying in Salga for 2 days. Drinking. And you know, in Salga has this fame about prostitution and all that. I would feel now I'm in my element. No one knows me here. I'm from Kikuyu land. I'm in Kalenjin land. No one knows. There is no one, and I'm talking good English here. So drinking after drinking, until eventually I had to call one of my friends. Now I'll borrow a phone. By that time we had phones. I think we were in second year. I would call a friend, and this idea, then they would, you know what they did? There was no M-Pesa. I gave the phone to a driver who was going to Eldoret, and they promised to be at Cheptiret. Cheptiret is a junction going to the university. That's where I found him, and he paid. I was haggard. I didn't even have my IDs, and I'm going to college. And my parents didn't know yet that I had a problem. So campus for me was like a blur, especially first year, second year. Ilipita tu. I was admitted for a BA geography,
Yes.
but I changed my course to BEd,
Yeah.
English and Literature,
Yeah.
because I knew it would be easy. I loved reading. When I was maybe after a hangover, I
Yeah.
would read
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
novels. That's the only way I would survive in campus. And that was my course, so it was fun. So exams were not an issue, ningepita. But going to
Yes.
classes, if I had money,
Yeah.
mostly I would go to Busa, Dance, or Chang'an.
Yeah.
We had one just next to the campus. It's called Mabatini. It used to be fun because mnaenda mnatolewa basa inawekwa hapa kwa moto. It's hot busa, sorry, busa. Hot busa, alafu we mix with the cham, moody, inaitwa moody, changa. That concoction would make you fly. There are so many times I slept in the bush at Moi University. And you know, it's a large, vast land, but it was secure. Naamka tu najipata, okay, my roof has some stars and I don't know where I am, so let me just sleep.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would cry sometimes at night. I would cry because I would wake up maybe at 3 a.m. Now wondering, sasa niko wapi? Most of the nights I didn't even know. Hata kama niko kwangu in the house, in the hostel, I wouldn't know where I was exactly. So I would wake up like a thief, first looking around. Do I have any? Where am I? One day I woke up at just next to the library, and it was already 8. People are going to classes. Na mimi nimelala hapo. Niliamka like, okay, now this is where I slept. I didn't have an ID again. I think I've picked. I have. I've applied for ID so many times, just like my SIM card. Yeah. So it was a terrible time.
Yeah.
Now, in a second year, that is 2004, I remember one time I was coming from a bar, or from a changa then, not a bar. Let me call it the way it is. I was high. I was singing. I used to sing a lot and shout. You know, I was that kind of guy. Loud. And I was singing, going to the hostel. Okay. That's the last thing I remember. But I had some music, gospel music, and I felt, those ones are singing like me. So let me join them.
Yeah.
In my mind, I didn't know it was the CU on Fridays. It was a Friday. I think it was 11 p.m. or midnight. And I joined. Oh, nimeokoka, nini. The last thing I remember, I was kneeling. I remember it in beats. Mimi nakumbuka nikiwa kwa kona, I'm kneeling, watu wameniwekelea mikono. I can't remember the rest. But the next day on Saturday morning, somebody came to our door in the hostel. I think I gave my details. And alikuwa ananiita brother Chris. Ajua sasa ni ile amenoka, amefunguliwa si mimi. Then ameingia.
Brother Chris.
Si mimi nimelala tu hata sijajifunika. Brother Chris. Mwangalia, who are you? You are not my brother, Moi or Muriithi. Who are you? And then I remember the guy. The guy was from tulikuwa naye high school, but he was also in campus. I remember. Then it started hitting me. This guy is born again. Naona, okay, niliokoka. Ala.
Jana.
Jana. Okay. Okay, nikamwambia acha nitoke because these are the guys who would have laughed at me. Nikatoka, akaniambia sasa hizo nanuka hata pombe, hata mimi mwenyewe nasikia nanuka. So namwongelesha hivi, so nikamwambia I'll come to the meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, come for me at 10 a.m. So I went back to bed. Nikafikiria, I try this because the beer was already hurting me. My relationship with my kin, my parents, it was already getting bad. Because any time I would go to the village, I would mess up. Even in Nairobi, if I went to my sister's place, I would mess up. Pombe mimi ilikuwa ina react vibaya. That's why I always say maybe it's the brain wiring. It's not a weakness. This day, I understand it now. It's not that I'm weak or anything. So, nikasema acha niokoke. it was one of the many times I got born again. But for this one, I stayed for 7 months. 2004, I was a sober one up to maybe January the next year, 2005,
Yeah.
when I went to now that year. That year, we started a small business with two of my friends. We would hire out movies. Remember those days you had to pay 50
Yes,
bob to
yes.
get a
Yes.
and also we had a VCD machine. We would hire it out, so we were making some money. So one day, one of these local musicians was to come to Moi University, and we were to sell the tickets because already we had a business. So we made a lot of money, and a friend of mine was also selling alcohol, the sachets. So I said, now I'm 7 months, I can try. Maybe I'll just drink for today kidogo. What? I don't know how I ended up somewhere in a toilet. Nilikuwa nimehang kwa toilet nikijaribu kuingia. Sijui, I don't know. Nikichapwa na bouncer wa hiyo show. Na unasikia I was one of the promoters. I was being beaten. In the morning I woke up with the bumps, dents. And I knew I was back. There was no going back. Instead of maybe getting my warning because of those dents, I went back now, full time, drinking. There was money. You see, for the VCDs, or the movies, people would just come and hire them out. We would just buy them at the beginning of the semester. So the money was coming in, I was drinking. Drinking. It got so bad. Now, I was already shaking. Ni ile, watu wakiamka, at 7:30 going to class, naamka tu pole pole. I know I'm not going to class fast. Naenda kwa cham, ama busa, whatever. Now, Mama Vayo, she died. She used to cook the busa and all that. Mama Vayo knew me, so angenipatia, namwambia Saturday, watu wakilipa tukicollect pesa ya movies, wewe unajua nitakusort. So wananipatia na kuwa sober. The kutoa lock mentality. You know the kutoa lock.
After uko na hangover, unakunywa tena.
For most people, it's not even the hangover. It's the craving. For hangovers, people treat it with water and all other medications, dawa and everything. Kutoa lock, it's not about the hangover. You need something to jumpstart you. Unajua lock, unajua vile unatoa lock, that's what it means. Inakufungua kidogo. But mostly, inakufungua, unatoa lock na unatoa mpaka hedges. Unajipata umekunywa. That's what used to happen even later in my later life. I'll come to that. So, I went through 4th year. Kamaliza, I went to teaching practice, and I got my degree. Now we are in 2006 up to 2007. I don't have a job. I'm at my sister's place in Kariobangi, and I was still drinking. Nikipata tu pesa kidogo, hata pengine my sister ananiachia 300 ya nipikie my nephew. I would first of all rush to a keg place, and then I would in the evening I would borrow all over. Madhe atakuja kulipa. So my sister would not note that I was high. I remember one time in Kariobangi, it was getting bad. I know. I had a dental issue. So my sister gave me 500 to go to a dentist. I went to the dentist. Jino ikangolewa. Unajua uko na hiyo pamba and cotton wool. Instead of going home, I had an urge to drink. So I went to the bar, nikapatiwa keg, so na straw. So nakunywa hivi, alafu unaona damu inarudi. Wananiuliza, ni lazima ukunywe? Naambia kuna shida. Because I knew I had to walk out of my sister's place. So I applied for a job somewhere, a teaching job. I went to Kikuyu. When I went there, I talked to the owner of the school. It's like a private school. Nikamwambia mimi hata sina pesa ya kusettle or anything. Would you mind giving me a down payment? At least I settle. So akanipatia 4,000. I went and found a kanyumba ya 500. I paid for the house, but I didn't have anything else. Even at home, I only had a suitcase of clothes. I didn't even tell my sister. So yamenipatia 4,000. Niko Kikuyu. I came to town. Party after party. I remember I woke up at Sabina Joy in the morning. Nimelala hivi. Only niko tu na kabag, haina kitu. And one of the ladies Kakuja akaniambia shika simu yako na upate akili. My money, pesa hata nilikuwa, and she's the one. Yani alinihurumia tu. I don't have money, I'm supposed to go to work to report. Shika simu yako na upate akili. So I went to my sister's place again. Nimerudi. Sijamwambia naenda nafaa kwenda job. I called that school owner. Nikamwambia niliibiwa pesa. Hata simu nimeibiwa lakini nimereplace simu. Akatuma some more money. Nikaona hapa acha tu let me not drink. So I went to Kikuyu and started life now as a teacher 2007.
Yeah.
I taught for 2007 but I would drink a lot. I would drink and miss school.
Yes.
Mwenyewe anakuja kunitafuta. He would beg me because I was good at teaching.
Yes.
It was something I loved. English and literature I loved. And he would beg me, narudi tu shule. One day I went so drunk and akanifuta tu. So,
and does this drinking come with women? Ama your business is just beer, alcohol, Muratina, sachets, no women?
Okay, I didn't have a relationship. I didn't have time for that. And that's how I discovered brothels. Brothels are, they would solve the problem. Biological needs. So, Sabina Joy, Ludhuli Avenue, anywhere where I would find the services. It was easy. So, I didn't need a girlfriend in my life. I wouldn't even sustain. Who would even love somebody like me? Even with the looks. I'm not saying so, but it was bad. The low self-esteem, again coupled with the drinking issues, would just keep me off the women. And even if I was to start a relationship, it wouldn't last. Wataniona tu nikiwa a good boy maybe for 1 minute. The next moment I'm drunk, wanaona nikipiga magoti kwa mtaro. So it wouldn't work. So that's how the brothels would come in.
So just one night stands, alcohol, and you're out.
Not one night stands. Call them 10-minute stands, and maybe that's easy. You get what you solve your problem, and then you walk out. You go back to the drinking.
Yes.
But you had to drink fast because of the shame. Yeah. You're doing the wrong thing. So you're 10-15 minutes, not even 10 minutes. Those people chase you out. Maliza kile unafanya uende. But it used to be bad. In this Nairobi, there's no Shimo I don't know. And I thank God. Some of those things, I look at my life and I just cry sometimes when I'm alone. God protected me from diseases and all that. They even knew me by name. Yeah? Hey, Chris Umerudi. Even, okay, I'll come to that. So 2007, I taught. In December, I took up a job at IBC as a clerk.
Yeah.
Ile tu ya 2007 elections. Hiyo pesa tulilipwa immediately after the elections. Nilikunywa Karatina. Even my dad who was hosting me, my parents, I didn't even take hata mkate.
Shopping.
Yeah. And then I didn't even have fare now to go back to Kikuyu. And I had to beg for money from my mom and my dad. And it was pathetic. Watu wangeniangalia tu hivi and wonder, he ndio degree. Even somebody who is close aliniuliza, hivi ndivyo watu wa degree wanakaa. Afadhali mimi sikupata. And that's how family issues start, You are being told the truth, but
you don't want to hear it because this is not what I want to hear.
Yes, yeah. So after 2007, 2008, I started applying for jobs, even with my drinking. Surprisingly, I got a call up to Safaricom and even COP and KCB at the same time. I even got a sales job at COP. I was to go to Mombasa. At the same time, I was doing an interview at Safaricom. I remember 2008, around July, August. And that's how I joined Safaricom. No connections, nothing, just God.
Just God.
No, I slowed down because I was staying with my cousin somewhere at Odero. And I would commute to Westlands for the training, and then nikaanza job.
Yeah.
Then the job station moved to Mombasa Road. So I started now staying alone at Pipeline. No other place, Pipeline. It's like my destiny was supposed to pass through the worst of places. Now I'm in Pipeline alone, making money at Safaricom. The drinking now moved to another level. It graduated. Yeah. Surprisingly, even with the money, I would not sustain the, the bottled beer. I had to go for the cheapest so that I sustain it for the entire month. And it wouldn't even last. 10 days, I had to go for an advance. You can imagine going for an advance at such a big company. You had to, you go to the HR, it's an open office. You are ashamed. I've come for an advance. Kila mtu anakuangalia. Advance. Ulilipwa like 15 days ago and you are a new employee. Hujamaliza hata 3 months, you are coming for an advance. They won't ask you, but the eyes.
The eyes are saying it.
Yes. Unapatiwa pesa yako. Kwanza you used to give in cash. Yeah, party after party in town. Pipeline, there's a certain brothel, and it's a bar brothel. I used to be a patron there. Maybe kama shares zingekuwa zinapatiwanwa ningepewa shares. Ni ile unaingia, the manager is, Chris umekuja, unataka nani leo? It's shameful. It's, they sell them like tomatoes in the market. Yeah? It's a bad world. It's dark. Huyu ni 150, 300 ama unataka
Wait, kulikuwa na 150?
Even in town unapata 70. Even today ukienda River Road unaona wengine wamevaa rabagoma hapo, wanakuita. It's a lifestyle that is there. And now that is where I used to drive. I don't have a girlfriend. I have some biological needs. I'm high. You see, the alcohol removes that guilt. You can do these things when you're sober. The alcohol removes that guilt. At one time, I even had I had a girlfriend while at Safaricom, and I would still not feel satisfied. It's like a demon. I drink, first go to those brothels in Pipeline, and then
I come to her. Kai.
God protected me.
Yeah. It's so many things.
It was nasty.
Yeah.
And I struggled working. To me, the work was so demanding. It was interfering with my drinking. I was feeling like if I have money. You see, there were no savings. I didn't have that sense to see I have no savings. So I would stop going to work even for days. I would go to a certain hospital in Buruburu, get a sick cough. I used to get sick coughs every week. Because maybe nilianza kunywa asubuhi, I'm supposed to report for night shift. Saa 10 najipata nimelewa, maybe nimelala mahali somewhere. So I would borrow a phone, or I would just rush I would not go to work. The next morning, I would go to the hospital, say I'm sick, alafu naongea na the daktari, namwambia, backdate it and add another day. And then we had insurance. Everything is covered, so no expenses. Akiniandikia hivyo, then I would think where I would get money. If I had money, whether in the bank or anything, or I would call a brother or somebody, just anything to get money.
And do you have friends at this point? What kind of friends do you have? Don't you have friends who are telling you, Chris, hapa venye unaenda bro utapotea?
You see, there is this clique. People always have cliques, eh? And I have seen people talking about cliques on Twitter. They will cheer you on. They will never, you see, they drink and then they go to their wives, and I don't have a wife, so they will leave me. And then I'll be the one buying. They will not even spend their money. Then they will leave. Tomorrow we'll be talking about, hey, Chris, ulienda home. I can't remember. 90% or even 98% of the times, I didn't know how I got to the house. I couldn't remember what I did. It was so nasty. You see, I would wake up at 3 a.m. and start trying to recollect what I did. Oh, how did I mess? Yeah. There was one time I remember I walked from the bar, nikaingia kwa shop ya wenyewe, nikaanza, I don't know what I did. Maybe the owner came and thought the wife was there. So sijui nilikuwa nashika bibi ama something. I was beaten. And it's in your residence, in your estate. So every time I would have messed. So nilikuwa najaribu recollect, how did I mess yesterday? And then the memory loss, like I told you, the blackout. That's an indicator that you have a problem. You have an alcohol abuse alcohol use disorder, which is slowly getting into alcoholism or something like that. So it got worse. One time I stopped going to work for weeks. Still, the company welcomed me back. They even paid for counseling. Those guys are supportive. I have seen people commenting negatively. People, maybe they didn't see my first comment. They supported me. I would go to counseling up to Kilimani. They were paying for the counselor. But then coming from Kilimani, I would pass through town. So nilikuwa naangalia counselor hivi akiniambia how we are going to work together. Okay, work together. Okay. At one time hata sikuwa na fare ya kurudi, nikamwambia na sina fare ya kurudi. So she gave me 500 shillings. So hapo nilikuwa na count 50 bob to 40 bob to town, 70 to pipeline, hii ingine ni ya kunywa. So mwangalia tu hivi, so we'll meet next week. Yes. Yeah. Every day, step by step. Yes. Na hapa na count, hizi ni makeg kama 100 sijui ngapi, hizi ni keg. Na count 30 keg, small keg ni 30 times. You see? Yeah, tunamalizana hivyo. The next time hata akinipigia pengine hata siwezi kumbuka tulikuwa tunaongea nini. And I would go to work, maybe miss. Yeah. So eventually on October 16th, I remember 2010, I was supposed to report for night shift. I was even sober. Then nikaenda hapo nyuma kununua tu sukuma, nipike, niende. Nikaingia nikanunua sukuma, I remember very well. Then nikaingia kwa keg, nikasema si niko na sukuma hapa, so just one keg, alafu I go to work. Niende nipike, nikuje nichukuliwe niende job. Sikuwa irudi job. Nilikunywa, nikajipata sijui niko wapi. You know, friends are buying I think I met some friends that evening.
Yeah.
Nikakunywa. That's how I stopped going to work. Nikatafutwa na the company. They looked for my next of kin, my sister Angela. Wakanitafuta. Angela akanitafuta pipeline. Alikuwa analetwa na brother yangu because it was that time it was DG, it was not even secure. And there was Mungiki and all that. Akanitafuta. Mimi naambiwa natafutwa, naingia even deeper place hata hawezi nipata. So eventually she was told now there was nothing else. There was nothing else we can do. Here's the termination letter. A good job, good money, bonuses, best phones, insurance, credit ya 3,000 per month.
Gone.
It was all gone. And now I had now to move from pipeline because I didn't have anything else. But before I moved out, sasa nikaanza kunywa. I was paid 2 months salary. Yeah, hiyo month November, December, nikalipwa. Sasa nikakunywa kabisa, knowing sasa nikukufa. All along, Lynn, I had these suicidal thoughts. I think it's immediately after high school. I used to have them. Maybe it's because of that sense of failure.
Yes.
I used to have these, I wanted to die. I really wanted to die. Because one time I remember, nilikuwa na katia ng'ombe nyasi, napier grass in fact. Naangalia panga hivi nasema, nikijikata I just bleed. See those like those? I don't think they are common to everyone.
Yeah.
So it was a problem that was inherent.
Yes.
And I didn't know. I would think maybe kila mtu ufikiria hivyo. And then I thought I had problems. Because unajua problems ni, like I have messed with someone's daughter, and then the mother has come and reported me, and my mother is mad at me. My father is not speaking to me. And everyone is mad. So a friend of mine at Pipeline called my friend, a mutual friend called Jemo. Jemo was my friend even in college. Jemo came for me because I was already now selling stuff. I think walinipata nikiuza vitu.
Your home stuff.
Yeah. The stuff I had bought at Safaricom. So Jemo came for me. Yani ile rescue team. Akanipeleka kwake Kariobangi. By that time, I was already thin, I was shaking. Singefanya kitu hata in the morning. I had to drink at any cost. Hata kiatu kama hii ungenipata nayo uniambia, hey Chris, hiyo kiatu iko poa. Tachukua na gapi? Na usiambie mtu. Nipatie tu hizo slippers zako. So now, I moved to Kariobangi. I was being hosted in a single room by my friend. And I was in trouble. I had to drink. Now he introduced me to online writing. So this one is kind of marketing for international websites. You write content, blogs, something like that. Okay, I loved writing from my early childhood because my dad used to buy newspapers. He was very supportive of that. So it was natural. I started writing. I would get a little money because obviously I was a newbie. The money I would get in the evening, I would just go to the bar. You know, Jemo was paying for my rent. I didn't even know whether that room was a rented place or it was free.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't even ask. I just wanted a place to sleep.
So this time you sold everything
Yes.
you had in the house?
Yeah, he even gave me a bed. I didn't have anything.
You sold your bed also?
Yeah, beds are marketable.
No. Like na sufuria?
Hizo hata sijui where they went. Anyone would come and niambie si unipatie hii na so. They knew my problem while I was in pipeline. Anakuja, anapata nice. The only thing I didn't sell was my laptop at that time. Because I had gotten the idea of the only way I would make money was through maybe EO digital something, digital-based businesses.
Yeah.
So I stuck to it. I had even called Jemo even earlier to come for the laptop because sikuwa nataka kuuza. So I started the writing. But now lazima ningetoa lock asubuhi. So hata I would even borrow money from Jemo. Anajaribu kuniongelesha but I had lazima ningetoa lock. Singefikiria. Tena I was shaking. Singekunywa chai. If I took tea, I would just vomit. Nilikuwa nimeanza kuvomit blood by then kidogo. So naenda natoa lock. Sometimes natoa lock na sahau. Jemo would come for me kama nimelala kwa mtaro. She would talk, my mom would call and Jemo would talk to my mom trying to, you know, to convince her that I have a problem. And they tried working out, but mimi hata sikuwa nice. I didn't see the problem. I was drinking, I was working and
niko sawa.
Napata 500 nakunywa.
Niko sawa.
And food was not in the equation. Food ni ile tu maybe unapatana na maharagwe, una negotiate food. Ni 30 bob. Madhi huwezi chukua mbao juu niko na so hapa na keg hapa, unaona keg 3 unaona. So to negotiate maharagwe. Usiweke cabbage, ni weka tu kisupu. Just that. So I was getting dinner, my health was poor.
Yeah.
So I didn't have anything in my other than the laptop. And then that is now 2011. And I got an idea. I was told by someone, kuna pesa tulikuwa tunakatwa. I don't know what, I can't remember. But I was told if I applied, I would get the benefits. That was 60,000. I went and applied. I got a check in the next few days. Now I have 60,000. These thoughts of dying, they didn't come because you have been sacked. They used to be there even when I was getting big bonuses at Safaricom. It's people confuse maybe alcoholism with poverty and maybe mental illness with poverty. No. People want to commit suicide even when they have bank accounts that are loaded. So I had this 60,000 and I said, now sasa ni kunywa kufa. Nikaanza kukunywa. The first time I messed, I don't know how I went to town. Nikajipata niko na a prostitute in the house. A prostitute in the house. Unasikia being hosted. A prostitute. The next morning I woke up, no laptop, no phone, nothing. And some money, nilikuwa nimeweka nilipe my friend, it was gone. Kwanza she even locked me in. The guts. Nothing. Modem. You used to use a modem those days.
Zero.
Nothing. Amebeba my tool of trade.
So you don't have a laptop at this point?
Yeah. So I had to knock the door and shout.
Someone opened from the outside.
For my friend to come and
yes.
Nikamwambia it's gone, everything. But now, because the check came through the bank, so I had some money. Nikamwambia Jemo, I'll go and get you the rest of the money. So I went. Nilitoa pesa somewhere in Kariobangi, Buruburu, Cop. But how I ended up in Westlands.
Oh, Chris.
In the morning, unasikia nimeenda kitu 11 am mchana. How I ended up in Westlands, somewhere around Mpaka Road, somewhere on the streets, watu wakienda job, dirty. Luckily I had my shoes, dirty and haggard and you know, watu wanapita ni like, si unajua vile watu huona mlevi and like
Baadaye tunaangalianga mtu hivi.
alafu you walk away.
Yes.
Saa mi naamka nashindwa niko wapi. I went to, nikaenda kwa soja hapo, si ati I knew where I was. Nikamuuliza hapa ni wapi? Anamuuliza kwani wewe uko wapi? Nikamwambia tu nauliza niko wapi. Anamwambia huko ni Westlands. Nikamuuliza Buruburu kuna Westlands? Akaniambia kijana, nakwambia huko ni Westlands. Wewe ulikuwa unaenda wapi? Nikamwambia hata sijui, lakini asanti. So it hit me. Nikaanza kuangalia, nikaona magari zikipita. That time there used to be a roundabout.
Yeah.
So the first thing that came to mind, I knew I was in trouble. No money, nothing, no phone, nothing. Nikajaribu kuingia ati hapo COP, sijui ATM ilikuwa wapi. Nikaamka hata sina ATM. But I knew, in my mind I knew hapa hakuna pesa iko. So I couldn't even wait ati bank ifunguliwe niulize. How did I didn't even have an ID. Then I remembered, all through, I had been trying to contact even guys like David Ogot. He's a recovering, one of the best known.
Yeah.
And they had people had always mentioned about Chiromo Rehab. There's a rehab, a detox center. And I knew kutoka Westlands
mpaka Chiromo,
it's naweza fika. But you can see now I'm trying to get a place where I can get help. Most alcoholics always they cry out for help. Sometimes you might not even know it. Sometimes they even attempt suicide just to alert people that they have a problem. They are not maybe ready to go ahead with it. They will even warn, I want to commit suicide. So for me, I thought, acha niende Chiromo. Maybe they can accept me. Maybe they have a CSR program where they accept walk-in alcoholics. So I thought Chiromo was on the other side of the road. Kumbe hiyo ni mochari. Akaniambia, it's the other one. So nikicross barabara, I remember that one time I almost jumped onto the road. Hii mambo iishe. Because where am I going? Where was I? That thought of that good performer in primary school, whose dad had a lot of hope. Now, jamaa alikuwa Safcom. Now within a year, here I am walking almost, like a chokora. Because actually nilikuwa nakaa chokora.
You wanted to go?
Yeah, nilikuwa nataka.
Yes.
I really wanted. Lakini nikavuka tu.
Ukavuka.
Yeah,
I wanna take a break right now.
Yeah.
Because even I think the more we progress, the more emotional this becomes. Because even for me as Lynn, sometimes there's no need of sitting in a chair and assuming you are a saint. There are so many times I have looked at, walevi.
Yeah.
Unaangalia tu mtu hivi unashindwa. Venye you said something and it hit me. The number of times that we have looked at them. Na hata uwezi taka watu wakukaribie.
Yeah.
Because again, anakukaribia, to you what you see is the stench.
Yeah.
To you what you see is the dirt. To you what you see is, I'm not this person.
I'm better.
I'm better.
Yeah.
And you said something important, like to them, most of them, it's even a cry for help. Nisaidieni. I am dying. Nisaidieni. Like, even they say it, I want to commit suicide, and we just look at it as a joke.
Yeah.
So allow me to take a break so that we can come back for part 2, because I think there's so much, and it would be so unfair for us to rush where this conversation, because I think we are just getting into the conversation. It's all right, Chris.
Yeah.
It's okay. Thank you, guys. Sorry, we'll just have to take a break for this part 1, because again, this conversation is just starting to get really, really deep, and it would be really unfair for us to rush it. We don't do that on the show. So if you are watching this, let me first share your thoughts with me. What do you think about penye tumefika already. Share your thoughts on the comment section, and if you are watching this, share it with your friends also, and be back with us tomorrow, Wednesday at 10 a.m. for part 2 of this conversation. Okay.